And one day I was walking into work. It was 9 a.m. or whatnot. And I was reaching for the door where I normally go into work, and my hand was like shaking a little bit, and my hand wouldn't go forward. My body literally didn't want to go through the door. I had a new intake, and I was just uncertain of what I was going to face. And so I just stood there at that door to the office, and I said, okay, Dan, with this intake and with everyone you meet with today, just do lousy work. Like don't do anything unethical, don't do anything to harm anybody, but do a quality of counseling that is so minimal that they're really not likely to benefit one iota. Just one day of being a super bad therapist.
Yeah.
Right,
That's called anchoring low, right?
Anchoring
Just so
low.
we have the
I anchored
term.
really low. I'm not going to do any harm, but I'm going to do no benefit.
Right.
So I'm sitting at my desk. The guy comes in. He's a bodybuilder guy. Like he's pounding on my desk. The veins are popping out of his forehead. He's so angry about, the system and what white people are doing to oppress, and here I am, a white guy, and I'm part of the oppressive system. But I was like, he finished, kind of yelling his stuff. And it's like, you make some good points. Unfortunately, our culture is oriented to overprivileged white people who take advantage of, it's like, and how often do we look at the contributions of really amazing people like Martin Luther King Jr. Or I started naming off all these historical figures, but people who are also extraordinary people of character. And so I started kind of taking his argument away from him, which is another tactic called steel manning. They use that in debate, where you start debating the other person's position for them. And they go into this strangely kind of passive place because they want to hear what you think as you're arguing their position for them.
Yeah.
And then I started going into when's the last time he came home and to see his children smile or want to greet him at the door. And he couldn't remember a time like that. And I was like, how would you like it this week if you have your children come up and greet you at the door, smiling and happy to see you, and your wife smiling and happy to see you? And the guy got really emotional. He's like tearing up. And I was like, I can help you get there. You just need to do these things. And I promise you'll get there. And I told him some very specific things to do. And he came back 2 weeks later or whatnot and was thanking me and telling me, sure enough, his kids and wife had been waiting for him at the door when he came home and hugged him. And he couldn't remember the last time that happened. He cried in my office, telling me how meaningful it was. And all of that was after I anchored low and told myself I was going to do zero beneficial therapy.
Yeah, but that got you through the door, to open the door. And
sometimes we're trying too hard.